When dealing with rewiring docks at a marina, it's important to adhere to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, to ensure safety and compliance. Let's address the issues found on docks A, B, and C. Firstly, regarding docker receptacles, the NEC mandates a minimum of 30 amp receptacles for boats. While in use, covers are not explicitly required for marina pedestals, it's a good practice to consider them for added protection. Concerning the feeder and wiring on dock A, open wire with fabric protection is not permitted according to the NEC. All wiring must be within approved conduits or enclosures. Splices under the deck are permitted, but they must be accessible. A junction box under the wooden deck boards is generally considered accessible if it can be easily opened without causing damage to the deck. Lastly, regarding the pedestals on dock A, if the existing pedestals are not compatible with 30 amp receptacles, they'll need to be replaced to meet code requirements. Now turning to dock B, its feeder and wiring situation, open wire and open splices are not permitted under the NEC. All wiring must be installed within approved conduits or enclosures. Junction boxes are essential at all splice points to ensure safety and accessibility. Finally, let's examine dock C. The feeder and wiring on dock C features Type W multi-cable, which is indeed permitted for marina wiring. However, splices must be made in accessible junction boxes. They cannot be located under the deck of the floats, as that would violate accessibility requirements. When undertaking the rewiring of the docks, there are several general recommendations to keep in mind. Firstly, consider using Type W multi-cable for its ease of installation and durability in marine environments. Secondly, install junction boxes at all splice points to ensure accessibility and safety for future maintenance and inspections. Thirdly, thoroughly inspect the existing pedestals for any signs of damage or corrosion. Replace any faulty or outdated pedestals to maintain a safe and reliable electrical system. Finally, and most importantly, meticulously follow all applicable NEC requirements for marina wiring to guarantee code compliance and the safety of the marina users. It's highly advisable to consult with a licensed electrician who specializes in marina wiring for specific guidance and to obtain approval of the installation plans. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the NEC requirements and best practices. Firstly, ensure that all electrical work complies with Article 555 of the National Electrical Code, which specifically addresses marinas and boatyards. This article covers wiring methods, grounding, bonding, and equipment selection for these environments. Secondly, all wiring must be suitable for wet locations. Use cables and conductors listed for use in wet environments such as Type W or THWN2. These cables are designed to withstand moisture and corrosion, ensuring long-lasting performance. Thirdly, proper grounding and bonding are critical to prevent electrical shock hazards in a marine environment. All metal parts of the electrical system, including pedestals, junction boxes, and equipment enclosures, must be properly grounded and bonded together. This creates a low impedance path for fault currents, allowing protective devices to quickly trip and clear the fault. Fourthly, ground fault circuit interrupters or GFCIs are required for all receptacles that supply power to boats. GFCIs protect against electrical shock by detecting small leakage currents and quickly interrupting the circuit. Ensure that all receptacles are GFCI protected and regularly tested to verify proper operation. Fifthly, wiring methods must comply with NEC requirements. Use rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or non-metallic conduit for wiring above ground. For underground wiring, use direct burial cable or conduit approved for underground use. All conduit and cable runs must be properly supported and secured. Sixthly, junction boxes must be accessible and weatherproof. Use weatherproof junction boxes listed for use in wet locations. Ensure that all boxes are securely mounted and properly sealed to prevent water from entering. Junction boxes should be readily accessible for inspection and maintenance. Seventhly, electrical pedestals must be suitable for marina use. Choose pedestals that are specifically designed for marine environments and listed for use in wet locations. Pedestals should be equipped with GFCI protected receptacles, circuit breakers, and metering equipment. Ensure that pedestals are securely mounted and properly grounded. Eighthly, use only approved electrical equipment and materials. All electrical equipment and materials used in a marina must be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or AL. This ensures that the equipment meets safety standards and is suitable for the intended use. Ninthly, regularly inspect and maintain the electrical system. Conduct regular inspections of the electrical system to identify any signs of damage, corrosion, or wear. Repair or replace any faulty equipment or wiring promptly. Keep the electrical system clean and free of debris to prevent overheating and other problems. Tenthly, follow all applicable local codes and regulations. In addition to the NEC, marinas may be subject to local codes and regulations. Consult with local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. 11thly, ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified personnel. All electrical work in a marina should be performed by a licensed electrician with experience in marina wiring. This ensures that the work is done safely and correctly, and that it complies with all applicable codes and regulations. 12thly, provide adequate lighting for safety and security. Install sufficient lighting throughout the marina to provide adequate illumination for safety and security. Use weatherproof fixtures listed for use in wet locations. Consider using motion sensor lighting to conserve energy and enhance security. 13thly, implement a lockout-tagout procedure for electrical maintenance. Before performing any electrical maintenance or repairs, implement a lockout-tagout procedure to energize the equipment and prevent accidental energization. This helps to protect workers from electrical shock hazards. 14thly, provide emergency shut-off switches. Install emergency shut-off switches at strategic locations throughout the marina to allow for quick de-energization of the electrical system in case of an emergency. Ensure that the switches are clearly labeled and easily accessible. 15thly, educate boat owners about electrical safety. Provide boat owners with information about electrical safety in marinas, including the dangers of electric shock drowning, or ESD, and the importance of using GFCI-protected receptacles. Encourage boat owners to inspect their boats' electrical systems regularly and to report any problems to marina management. 16thly, maintain accurate records of the electrical system. Keep accurate records of the electrical system, including wiring diagrams, equipment specifications, and maintenance records. This information will be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. 17thly, consider surge protection. Install surge protection devices at the main electrical panel to protect against voltage surges caused by lightning or other events. Surge protection can help to prevent damage to sensitive electronic equipment. 18thly, address stray current corrosion. Stray current corrosion can be a problem in marinas due to the presence of dissimilar metals in the water. Implement measures to minimize stray current corrosion, such as using sacrificial anodes and bonding all metal parts together. 19thly, regularly test the water for stray voltage. Use a clamp-on ammeter to test the water around docks and boats for stray voltage. Any stray voltage detected should be investigated and corrected immediately. 20thly, comply with Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, requirements. Ensure that the marina electrical system complies with ADA requirements for accessibility. This includes providing accessible pathways to pedestals and other electrical equipment. In addition to the previous points, here are some more detailed considerations for marina electrical systems. Firstly, regarding the main service entrance. The main service entrance for a marina must be sized appropriately to handle the total electrical load of the marina. This includes the load of all the boat slips, as well as any other electrical equipment used at the marina, such as lighting, pumps, and buildings. A qualified electrician should perform a load calculation to determine the appropriate size for the service entrance. Secondly, concerning overcurrent protection, each circuit in the marina electrical system must be protected by an overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse. The overcurrent protection device must be sized appropriately for the circuit it is protecting. This helps to prevent overloads and short circuits, which can cause fires and other hazards. Thirdly, regarding wiring methods in wet locations, when wiring is installed in wet locations, such as docks and boat slips, it must be installed in a manner that prevents water from entering the wiring system. This can be accomplished by using waterproof conduit and fittings, or by using direct burial cable that is specifically designed for use in wet locations. Fourthly, junction box installation deserves thorough attention. Junction boxes must be installed in accessible locations so that they can be easily inspected and maintained. They must also be weatherproof to prevent water from entering the boxes. Fifthly, when selecting marina-grade pedestals, electrical pedestals used in marinas must be specifically designed for use in wet locations. They should be made of corrosion-resistant materials and should be equipped with GFCI-protected receptacles. They should also be securely mounted to the dock to prevent them from being damaged by boats or other equipment. Sixthly, GFCI receptacle testing is a critical safety measure. GFCI receptacles should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. This can be done by pressing the test button on the receptacle. If the receptacle does not trip when the test button is pressed, it should be replaced immediately. Seventhly, signage is key for informing users of electrical safety. Post signs throughout the marina warning boaters about the dangers of electric shock drowning, or ESD, and advising them to avoid swimming near docks or boats. The signs should also provide instructions on what to do if someone is suspected of experiencing electric shock drowning. Eighthly, marina staff training is essential. Marina staff should be trained on how to respond to electrical emergencies. This includes knowing how to shut off the power to the docks, how to rescue someone who is experiencing electric shock drowning, and how to administer first aid. Ninthly, lightning protection systems can mitigate risks. Consider installing a lightning protection system for the marina. This can help to protect the marina from damage caused by lightning strikes. Tenthly, conducting regular inspections cannot be overstated. The marina electrical system should be inspected regularly by a qualified electrician. This will help to identify any potential problems before they become serious hazards. 11thly, insurance considerations can guide decisions. Check with your insurance company to see if they have any specific requirements for marina electrical systems. Following these guidelines will help to ensure that the marina electrical system is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, addressing the electrical issues at the marina requires a systematic approach, starting with a thorough assessment of the existing wiring and equipment. For Dock A, prioritize upgrading the receptacles to 30 amp and ensuring compliance with NEC standards for wiring methods. Dock B needs a complete overhaul to replace the open wiring and splices with approved conduits, enclosures, and junction boxes. Dock C is in better shape, but the splices under the deck must be relocated to accessible junction boxes. Remember to use Type W multi-cable for ease of installation and durability, and always install junction boxes at all splice points for safety and accessibility. Consulting with a licensed electrician experienced in marina wiring is crucial to ensure code compliance and the safety of the installation. By following these recommendations and adhering to the NEC requirements, the marina can provide a safe and reliable electrical system for its boaters. Remember that safety should always be the top priority, and any electrical work should be performed by qualified professionals.